Hey guys, welcome to Pantry Living and the third week of the Pantry Challenge. And this week we are still struggling through some of those fresh produce items, but we're going to be cooking from the pantry and the freezer, probably some scratch cooking, but the part I'm most excited about, of course, is making that kimchi. That's exciting stuff. Well, it's Saturday morning. We're down in the basement getting a photo for today's video, which you're going to see already because, of course, you guys are all watching along, right? And I was grabbing a squash to get the shot, and look what I found. It's bad. Look! Our most biggest, beautiful Kershaw squash is going bad. Nice thing about these is they're big suckers. So we can chop off that top and we can still make use of this whole bulb or ball part. So guess what? I think we're going to be doing something with squash this week. Well, guys, we are starting week 3 off with a bang with that squash. Can you believe it? It has been a tough year for storing stuff just because the temperatures have been all over the place. But I'm not going to complain. Food is food. We'll just cook it up, right? But coming up here right now, like no more anticipation, we are doing something that I know you all want me to do. We're opening one of these cans of beans. In my last video, so many of you, great comments saying this is how you do your beans, which really instills confidence in me that these are going to be fantastic. But I want to try one first before I plunge ahead with processing a whole bunch more, because I really like to have a lot of beans on the shelf. So, as you saw at the end of the video, one of the most popular items on my spreadsheet of canning that we have used, taco meat. And it has been a day. It's already getting late. We're doing taco salad. And the reason we're doing taco salad is I have 2 heads of lettuce left, and you can see they're starting to go. I mean, who expects lettuce really to keep for weeks and weeks, right? So we're going to get what we can off that. We're going to clean it up, and we're going to make some taco salad. There really isn't a whole lot to it. You guys have seen my taco salad recipe for the canned stuff. I'm going to make refried beans here with these. I'm excited for this because that is mainly what we use beans for. And then I'll add the taco meat. We'll cook it all off. I'm actually going to cut up. I have 2 little mushrooms left from our fresh mushrooms. They are so dehydrated. It's horrible. I mean, oh, they almost smell bad. Maybe I shouldn't eat them. We might skip the mushrooms. We're not going to do that. Compost, here they come. So no mushrooms, but I do have a sad cucumber that is just about to the end of its life. So we need to go heavy on the cucumbers and heavy on the cherry tomatoes because we got lots of those too. Now, saying that, we have cherry tomatoes coming downstairs in our grow room. So I think probably a couple weeks yet before they're going to be ripe, but I'm excited because we actually grew them in the house. So taco salad for dinner. Here we go. All right, just pop the lid. Boy, oh boy, it was quite the seal, I'll tell you. But they smell like beans. The one thing I remembered actually as I got going was I forgot to put the ½ teaspoon of salt into the mixed beans. I'm not sure if that really makes a difference in the grand scheme of things for preservation, but I think I'm going to make sure I keep these ones at the front and use them up first just in case. And if we enjoy how they cooked up, I'm going to do more. And I will make sure I put the salt in them. I know I put it in the black beans because I did it on video. All right, so they are all drained and strained, and I am going to try them just as they are to see. These are our white Necra gold beans that we grow in the garden. Oh my gosh, they're perfect. Oh, these are the ones we call Bama's beans. They're seeds that came from my grandmother 30 years ago, and she got them from her neighbor 30 years before that, and it's just kept going, so we call them Bama's beans. A little bit firmer, but still fantastic. And these ones are our red cranberry beans. We grow these instead of kidney beans. This is a win. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Now, saying that, I'm not supposed to eat too many beans, right? So gotta watch that, but this changes the game. I'm going to can so many beans. It's good. You're going to see me can beans this week. I can guarantee it. Moment of truth. This is my favorite way to eat beans, so we're going to see. Oh, look at that. I'm going to bring you guys in closer. They smoosh beautifully. Just like that. I'm barely even having to push. That is awesome. So I just put a little bit of butter in this pan and look at them go. So this changes the game. Honestly, if you guys have any more suggestions for speedy canning, let me have them, honestly, because share links, share whatever, because I'm so impressed with this. And definitely faster canning, faster preserving is something I would really like to strive for. Not that I don't like canning, I have a hard time investing so much time into it. So that's why I really want an electric pressure canner. I know I've heard good and bad about them, but I really would like one so that I could just walk away and do something else and not have to sit there and watch what it's doing. All right, this is getting really hot. We're going to add our taco meat. I'm going to make up the salad. You guys all know how to make a salad, so I don't have to share those details with you. I'm going to put Caesar salad dressing on it and some ranch dressing just to use things up. And then it's sour cream salsa, shredded cheese, and away we go. It's going to be delish. But the main point I was trying to make here was how'd the beans turn out? And they turned out awesome. So we've got all of our veggies in the bowl. We are getting so close to being out of all that fresh produce. So we're going to enjoy it while it lasts. There's still a little bit of lettuce left, a little bit of cucumber, definitely some cherry tomatoes, but it's starting to get slim pickings. But I like to take my salad, get everything in the bowl. Then I add my salsa and my ranch dressing. Now, like I mentioned, we're actually going to add some Caesar dressing because I have a lot of Caesar dressing and I'm not going to have any lettuce. And I buy Renee's dressing or those type of more natural ones, which don't keep forever. So we're going to mix all of that in this bowl and then we're going to put it on a plate with our meat and cheese on top. But before we get to that, let's try this meat. Oh my gosh. I'm going to splice over here what it looks like in the pan, but I'm going to try it because this is so perfect. I'm never, ever going back to making my beans any other way. That is wonderful. I mean, you can probably see it. I'm so pleased. Yay! Well, guys, this week is just flying past. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, it has been a lot of the same old. This morning, again, we had an omelet using up some Brussels sprouts and some leftover celery. A few things like that, but it's getting down to the dregs, that's for sure. But today, we are once again breaking out that fermenting book because it is time. I'm super excited for this part of the week, making kimchi. Never done this before. I'm not a fantastic fermenter, but I have to say the hot sauce that we made last week smells incredible. So if that's going in there, I think the flavor is going to be wonderful. So first thing that the book tells me is I need to take my Napa cabbage, quarter it, cut out any of the hard core or hard, really nasty leaves, take off a few of the outer leaves, get it into a bowl with our salt, and it's going to have to sit for 3 hours. Now, what this does is it gets that excess moisture out of the cabbage leaves and makes them kind of shrivel, I guess, and soft. I have made sauerkraut before. Turned out amazing, but didn't keep. That was the problem. So I really hope this is going to work well. So first step, let's get the cabbage going because 3 hours is a long time, but that's okay because I'm going to knit. I'm super excited. That's why I have my glasses on. I was getting ready to knit and I thought I better just check what we need to do for this kimchi. And I'm glad I did because 3 hours, that would have sucked if I'd started it in the evening. So now that our cabbage is all basically diced up, I will admit, I didn't just quarter it, I chopped it up because it was a long one and there was big, huge pieces, which I thought, I don't know if I'm going to love that. So it didn't say to do it, but we chopped her up into smaller pieces. So hopefully that doesn't cause a problem. But now we need to add our salt and then we let it sit for 3 hours. So 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons of a basically unrefined sea salt is what it says. Now, I always opt for pickling salt because what I interpret that to mean is you don't want iodine. And pickling salt doesn't have that. That's what we're going with, pickling salt. We're just going to put that in. I'm going to do one at a time, kind of toss those leaves and then put another one in as I turn it. Maybe should have gone into a bigger bowl, but I think this will work. One thing I wasn't sure was if I needed to be in a plastic bowl, and I don't really have a lot of big plastic bowls. I've gone with all metal, and I'm not sure if that can cause a problem. I know like with sourdough and things, you had to be careful with things like that, so I don't know. Anyways, we're winging it. Well, guys, we are back. It has been 3.5 hours, and our cabbage has shrunk down like crazy. I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, I was skeptical it was all going to fit in a quart jar, but they might be right. So we have a 1/2 pound daikon radish, 1/2 pounds of carrots, and 1 inch. Yes, I know it's more than an inch, but it's a very skinny piece, so we went a little bit heavy. We need to shred or grate those 3 items. We're going to get them into a bowl. Then we're going to take our 4 green onions and we're going to cut them into sort of 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch pieces. And then our 4 cloves of garlic. I went with 5 because of the fact that they were smaller, but we need to then just do these in slices and then they go into the pot. We add our 4 teaspoons of chili sauce, 1 teaspoon of fish sauce, mix all that together. Then we rinse our cabbage, get as much of that liquid out of it as we can. We want some of that salt off, and then we put that all in and stir it all up. Okay, I have my sterilized jar. I have my mixture. I am skeptical that that is all going to fit in this jar, but it's all mixed up. It says that I may need some of the basic brine if I don't have enough liquid when I press this down. So I guess we're just going to put it in, see what the results are, and if we need to make some, we'll look that up because there is some instructions. It says see page 13. So I've got my weight. We're going to just use that to press down as we go, and let's hope for the best. Then we leave it 5 hours at room temperature, and then we move it to a cooler place for 3 days, and after that it goes into the fridge. But it says you can basically use it after 3 days, but the longer it sits, the stronger the taste. We are coming to the bitter end of the fresh produce. You can see here tonight's dinner is being made up of a whole bunch of stuff that's on the verge of going bad, or it's starting to shrivel. We've tried to make it last as long as possible, but it is time for it to go. We've got a few little pieces of radish that were left over from that kimchi that we made yesterday. We've got a couple broccoli stalks that I hung on to thinking, well, I'm going to chop them up, put them into a stir fry. Oh, I gave it away. We're kind of doing a stir fry, but we're going to use some products out of the pantry as well. Now, we're going to be using our canned lamb meat. I love this for a chicken. It sounds really silly to use butter chicken, but I love the lamb for butter chicken. So we are doing a butter chicken sauce, a lamb meat, and a coconut milk out of the store-bought pantry. And the other thing we're going to be adding to this tonight is our, I have no idea how you pronounce that, Shirataki noodles. These are rice ones. What these are made out of is konjac root. And if you haven't tried them, honestly, they're fantastic. They are such a great rice or pasta substitute, especially if you fry them off. So when we get to that point, I'll go through a little bit more detail because this is a product that people either love or hate. And I will say, if you hate it, it's because you're not using it right. Anyway, let's get some of this chopped up. We're going to get the wok down and we're going to start all of our veggies first because our meat is already cooked. So all we have to do is just bung that in from the can, which I love, and heat it up. That was really crazy, that love. Which I love, and we'll heat it up. And then once all those veggies are in there, that's when this is going to come into play. But the one thing I'm going to start now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to rinse this. And you need to rinse it very, very well. That is the problem. When you open the bags inside this, they have a rooty plant smell that can really kind of turn people off. So you need to rinse them really, really well in a strainer or colander that has a very fine mesh. That's what we've found, key to success. And then putting some oil or butter in and frying them with everything else. Oh, just wonderful. All our veggies are in except for some stuff from the freezer, but I want to put that in after I put those shiitake, where are they called? What are they called again? Shirataki noodles in. So that's where we're at. We're going to just kind of create a hole in the center here. I'm going to put a dollop of butter. It's probably maybe a tablespoon. I don't know. It's kind of like making fried rice. That's what you're sort of going for. So we're going to put the shirataki noodles or rice or whatever you have. They make it in all forms into this center, and we're just going to work that up. But you can see here in the colander, these have had 15 minutes at least to really dry off. So you want them to be as dry as possible. That's kind of the key to success. And that's why I love frying them. You can eat them raw as they are, but I personally love them fried. And then after that, we're going to put in our frozen red peppers and peas. We really ended up with only a little bit of veggies left to go back into the fridge. There was another broccoli stalk, some carrots. I saved a little bit of the bok choy centers because they were still looking pretty good. And I thought we could do one more fresh produce meal. So this is cooking up beautifully, but I just wanted to mention a few more things. It just keeps coming to me and I just kind of keep bringing you back in here. I keep thinking we're done and we're not done. I saved what was left of the kimchi juice from the cabbage and the, when we mixed it up in the bowl. I kept that because I thought, you know what, it's going to be awesome on a stir fry or something. So it's spicy. I think it's going to add some great flavor to the butter chicken just to spice it up a little bit. So we're now going to add that. Our peppers are in here. I decided not to do the peas because we're on pea rations because I did not buy frozen peas before the pantry challenge. So I think I only have one, maybe 1.5 bags. So decided, you know what, there's enough veggies in this. I think we can make this work, no problem. So let's pour this on, get our butter chicken and our meat in here, and then we're going to eat because it's getting late. Oh, see, keep coming back, keep coming back. Waste not, want not. Look, Chris and I have been taking viewer suggestions. We've done this before, and to be honest, it didn't work great. But if nothing else, it feeds lizards or things like that around here. Because yes, we have lizards, and maybe one day we'll tell you about that. But we're not going to do it right now. So we've got our bok choy in here, as well as what we used from the romaine lettuce. And I have 2 more bok choy that I chopped up for this. So if we get those planted into some dirt, hopefully we can get some fresh produce into February. All right, so we've got that all in there ready to go. So I've just popped the meat open there. You can see there's quite a bit of liquid. So we're going to dump that out for the cat dish because I do not want extra liquid in this. You could save it, retain it for something else, but the cats love it. Here we are. Meat is in. We'll let that cook off a little bit, get a bit warmer, and then we're going to add our sauce. But you can see those little konjac noodles or konjac rice. They really do just kind of balloon out and very similar to rice. Homemade butter chicken. All right, there we have it, all finished off in our bowls. It's a little bit like a soup kind of thing, or stew, I guess you'd call it. But I did use yogurt instead of that coconut milk because I get, oh, pressure canner just popped up. I wanted to save the coconut milk because I only have 4 jars of coconut milk and I want it to last. So we did yogurt, but let's give a taste test. This is hot, but I think I can do it. I like my food hot, so. Oh my gosh. It always is good. You guys know my cooking. It's always good. Well, guys, I'm ending the video in the same outfit that I started the video with, dealing with this rotting squash. Now, today has been a hectic day. It snowed, it blizzard, I had to snow blow. I'm wearing my favorite clothes. That's just how it goes. The shirt's starting to look a little rough though. I'm gonna have to start looking for a new one. But at this point in time, I have no plan really for this squash. We're just going to slice it in half and roast it and scoop everything out and probably freeze it. Thank goodness I have some room in the freezer to put it right now, but that room is not going to last long because we have 2 sheep coming back from the butcher next week. So stay tuned to see how that goes. Honestly, I realized breakfast is boring around here. So today I decided to spice it up a little bit. We had fried eggs with that last can of, they're not pork and beans, but they're like baked beans, you know, like maple baked beans. Remember, I got those in the grocery haul. I don't know, it was at least 2 months ago. They were on for $1. Kind of wish I'd bought more of them now, but I didn't. So that was breakfast. Lunch, we whipped out one of our turkey vegetable soups because I was feeling lazy. That's all we had, turkey vegetable soup. And for dinner tonight, we're having Polly's Moroccan stew. So stay tuned because once we deal with the squash, we're going to eat. So let's cut her up, get her in the oven. We're going to roast it. 375 for probably 45 minutes. Although one thing I will say about these Kershaw squash, they do cook a lot faster than the butternut or our Canada crookneck because they are softer inside. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. So let's get it roasted up. I'm curious to see how much of this neck is a total loss because of the rotting. And because this was our nicest squash that we grew this year, the biggest Kershaw, not of all of them, but of the Kershaw squash, we definitely want to be harvesting some of these seeds so that we can grow it again next year. Look, all those seeds out of one squash plant. And you know what's fascinating? each one of these seeds, I'm trying to pick them up and they're still really slimy, but each one of those seeds is going to produce a plant that's going to produce probably 4 or 5 big size squash, which is a lot of pounds of food. Now, if you want to know more about the squash that we grow here at Hickorycroft Farm, I'm going to put a link in the description to a video on our Hickorycroft Farm channel about the 4 types of squash we grow and why we grow them and why we think squash is awesome. So definitely make sure you check that out. But we're going to get a little bit of olive oil onto the bottom of these. We're going to flip them over and they're going to go into the oven, which I did forget to preheat. So we're a little bit delayed now, but that's okay. Then we'll get it out and then we'll make some dinner. Well, guys, it is the end of another week of the Pantry Challenge, week 3 under the belt, or whatever the saying is. I'm terrible with sayings and it's getting late. But we finished off the day after we got, actually, let's go back to the squash. So squash came out of the oven. We sectioned it off. We actually ended up, I kept 1 2-cup portion, and then I've got a whole bunch here that is going to be dinner tomorrow with some lamb chops. And then, to be honest, the rest of it's going to the chickens for breakfast. It's -20 tonight, and giving them something like that is a really nice treat for them on a cold night. -20 Celsius, I should say. So that's the plan with the squash. And we finished off the day with our Polly's Moroccan stew on top of some diced up multicolored potatoes from the garden, which are starting to get some eyes on them. So it is time to get those little ones used up. But it was a great time for us to use this Moroccan stew because we didn't have the kids with us tonight. And it's not really their favorite lamb dish to eat. So it was a good time for us to use it up. And it was so tasty. It worked perfect. It's one that I've always, those jars were from 2023. And I've always been slow to use them because normally I would put it on rice and I love it that way. And it was always just like, oh, what am I going to do with it? But putting it on the potatoes, we had some of our leftovers from the other night in there too. So there was some cut up sweet potatoes and a little tiny bit of that leftover cauliflower. But all in all, it got all put together wonderfully into a great stew that just tasted fantastic. So I think it'll come out of the shelf a little bit more now because that reminded me how much I like it. So that's a wrap for week 3. We'll be on to week 4 next week. I am super excited because tomorrow for breakfast, we're trying the kimchi. I really, really hope that it has turned out. I haven't even taken the lid off to smell, although I will admit, I left it on the counter for those 5 hours and it started to kind of bubble and leak liquid, which was a little bit irritating. So put it in a container after that. But stay tuned to see how our kimchi turned out and also see what we get up to in week 4 of the Pantry Challenge. And in our running total, I always come back, right? I always come back at the end. In our running total that I've got going for 2026, we are up to 20 jars of food, out of our homegrown pantry. You know, the stuff that I've canned and put away, not the store-bought. So I'm quite pleased with that. We're plugging through things pretty good. We're only, what is it, this 16th of January. So we're only halfway through the month, which means I think we're going to probably hit that 40 jar mark, which, you know, especially as we're starting to really run out of that fresh produce. Anyways, I'm rambling. This video is getting long enough, so we will see you on the next one.